Hi, Joe. So here's your paper, and I want to tell you, you added some really, really good stuff. Your MLA looking sharp. The title I'm reserving because the problem with the title is it's a little vague. It doesn't really indicate what is broken or what is beginning. And I think that is largely because you didn't really get to the bigger issue. And yes, that cost you some points. So we have some things going on in the intro and conclusion that I wanted to point out. So this was all these check marks are good, good, good. You added some really good detail. And I was all excited about it. And then I get down here and you mentioned that you go to this Friday night. And I was like, wait a minute. You acted like here it feels like the only way you know her is from afar across the cafeteria and the things you've heard about her. But here, you've been going every Friday night to the same youth group. So you need to explain to me how you did not know something about her from that, you know? Or if you want to cheat, you can just take it out. But it really makes my head spin when I say, wait a minute, you know her from some other place too. So that kind of contradiction makes you what I'm sure you're familiar with, an unreliable narrator. Now I don't trust you to tell me the truth because where did that detail come from? The rest of the notes, um, as I promised you, when you filled in all this beautiful detail, you needed to break your paragraph. And a good place to break it is when you make the decision that you're going to. So now we're zooming in on the scene. So this is a paragraph mark, and this is a new paragraph. These comments here is a plain old run on. You've got an and here and an and here, and you've got your subject, verb, subject, verb, subject, verb. So you've got three sentences joined together here with ands, which is a classic run on, not the comma splices we've been talking about. So I just showed you where those were. Here's another paragraph break. And I apologize if I made it unclear to you because a lot of my dialogue just starts with what they're saying. But here, when you say, I told my friend Trent that I had started talking to her, when I told him that, he said, quote, so the quote goes with this, which means this is the paragraph break. This gets tapped in. Really like the details of what Trent was talking about and how you wanted to punch him. Here's where Colin can go, I know I didn't teach you all this grammar stuff, so I'm not holding you accountable for it all. And this is when you drop the bomb that, hey, I've been seeing her every Friday night. Well, it didn't sound like it at the beginning. This is something I didn't mention to you in your earlier drafts, but it occurred to me since this was an important moment, you should make it dialogue, make it really stand out because it's so important that you asked her. That was the beginning, wasn't it? Just one tense issue there. Mostly you kept your tenses clean. And then here's another place where you made my head spin. So I was way back here when you dropped the bomb that it had been a year and 2 months that you had been dating. I didn't know that up here when you started talking about the concealment of the phone. So what we need is a little bit of put it in the right order. So first, you need to tell me that after about a year, um, I got really close with her, and then I'm not sure when the job came along, if that was after a year or if it was 6 months into it. But you did make it clear that this job stuff happened. When this job stuff happened, then you started noticing the concealment. So it goes before you mention the concealment of the phone. Yeah, I know I sound like a broken record. We're just going to delete this phrase because when you double up on whens, it gets cumbersome. And you don't really need that because it's clear you returned to wherever she is. There's another paragraph break. Um, so yeah, there was a logical problem there. And then here's another paragraph break. I think it's Cruisin Muir, Muer, I believe. You can look it up. And then this is just supposed to be a period. This is the part where you tell me it's been a year and a month and that the concealing happened after you took the full-time job. So when you catch when you catch yourself saying things out of order, you gotta go back and put it where it belongs. What else? There's a comma splice. I inhaled and I thought. And I really liked your follow through here. You told me what happened afterwards. The problem is when you tell me I still hang out with her family, I miss her very much. It may be you don't have enough time and distance from this to get the bigger picture. That may be the problem. And through the writing, you might be able to organize in your brain what the bigger picture is. And so where it's left is basically I haven't changed at all. So that doesn't give a lesson to anyone. You say it's a new beginning, but you're not showing me you've started over at all. You seem to be still pretty sad about the whole thing and tempted to go back. So I gave you a suggestion last draft and I repeated it here because I think this might be what you're looking for, that you didn't really lose a relationship if she had already left. If she was talking to someone else, you no longer had the relationship you thought you had, right? So you didn't really lose it. It wasn't there. It wasn't there. You were going through the motions, but she wasn't with you anymore. She'd already left you long ago. So, or whenever you got the job. And by the way, that's probably why she was crying, because she probably realized how callous that is. You went to get the job so you could take her out, and then she did that to you. And that's it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible what she did. But you seem to be understanding, well, yeah, but I wasn't around. And FYI, this is a dilemma you face when you have children as well. On the one hand, you have to support them, and that means usually an 8-hour job plus 2 hours of commute time, which takes you totally away from them for most of their waking hours. And so you're, as a parent, you're feeling like, I need to do this to support them, but I also need to emotionally support them, and I'm not there. So there's always that, where's that balance? Maybe that's your bigger issue of grappling with where's the balance so that I can have the best of both worlds. I don't know, but it has to go beyond this experience, and something about you must have changed. And I'm glad to see you didn't become bitter. And maybe you did. Maybe that's why you haven't moved on to someone new. Maybe you're scared of, because I would be. It's hurtful. and would and if someone who actually goes to is a Christian and goes to youth groups with you, and this good person you knew her to be, if she could do that, then why wouldn't anybody else do it? So maybe you're scared. Maybe maybe you just like being alone and finding yourself, or maybe you really think maybe you're bitter and don't want to engage ever again. You want to go live on a mountain and grow a long beard. I don't know, but something must have changed in you. So now is the time to look inside and see what it is. Once we get the bigger issue, and you do not have to take mine, although this definitely is true, then your title should pop out at us as to what you want it to be. All right. I hope this helps. And of course, you can email me with any questions if you can't read my writing or you have a question about a note. All right.